Welcome to something to talk about.
Hi, welcome to Something to Talk About. My name is Taco, and I'm here to talk about A Song of Ice and Fire character. And who? Well, we're talking about Pretty Meris today, part of the Windblown, the sellsword company, and the company's torturer. So, if you've never been here before, hi, my name is Taco. I already said that part. And if you enjoy it, if you make it through my ranting and raving and just how unprofessional everything I do is, then like and subscribe. If you've already clicked off, then you didn't like those things. That's fine. That's fine. You can read this if you don't know what's going on. Pause it if you have to, but please keep in mind spoilers for the books and for the show. And yeah, so Pretty Meris. One thing we have to cover before we move on, and that is trigger warning for violence towards women. Merris has one of the most tragic backstories I've ever heard. She has seen some stuff, and we're going to get into it right away when we're discussing her appearance and other things. So just keep in mind, if you don't want to hear about somebody who pretty much has had the worst 20 years that a woman can have, might not want to, or well, maybe not the whole 20 years, but whatever. She's seen some horrible stuff. So if you don't want to hear about that, please leave. The last thing I want to do is ruin somebody's day in that way. I'm okay with ruining people's days just because of my overall demeanor, but I don't want to, you guys know what I'm trying to say. So please leave if you don't want to hear that. And if you're still here, let's go. Pretty Meris. Here we go. Merris, mockingly nicknamed Pretty Meris, is a sellsword for the Windblown. Merris is a thumb under 6 feet tall. She has blonde hair. She is earless and has a slit nose and scars across both of her cheeks. She is said to have cold, dead eyes like two gray stones. So most of pretty much everyone we're covering seeing Merris through, the POV character that we're seeing Merris through is Quentyn Martell. If you're only a show watcher and you don't know who Quentyn Martell is, sorry. The show kind of gave up at that point already. So yeah. So a lot of the descriptions are from his point of view, including like the cold dead eyes. So yeah. Merris dresses in all male and carries a crossbow. There is talk that underneath her shirt, there are only scars left by the men who cut her breasts off. Yeesh, that's a little rough. Okay. Originally from Westeros, Merris has been with the Free Company for 20 years. She has reportedly been assaulted by half the members of the sellsword company. Merris eventually joined the Windblown and now serves as the company's torturer. The character Old Bill Bones says that during her torturing, Merris can stretch out a man's dying for a moon's turn. Lovely. I mean, if you don't want to just hang out with Merris. Oh my God. She has cold dead eyes and can kill you very long. No. Okay, I'm gonna go home now. Sorry, Merris. All right, so let's talk about the Windblown themselves. This is the second character I've covered from the Windblown, and the other character I've covered is Kago Corpse Killer, which actually goes through a lot of the same beats as Merris. So if you've just watched the Kago video or whatever, maybe this one's gonna be a little bit of a repeat, but I filmed it a little while ago. But yeah, so the Windblown are a mercenary company of 2,000 mounted horse and foot soldiers. They are found in Essos near the Free Cities. They are led by a captain known as the Tattered Prince, who founded the company 30 years ago and is their first and only captain. Yeah, the Tattered Prince. I love him. The Windblown were established around 270 AC. At the age of 23, the Tattered Prince had been selected by the Magisters to be the of Pentos to become the new Prince of Pentos in 262 AC. only hours after the previous one had been beheaded. Yeah, so they kind of just kill their prince all the time in Pentos. It's not a nice gig. The Tattered Prince refused the offer, however, and fled to the disputed lands. He never returned to Pentos again, but has continued to long for the city. Yeah, he thinks about it a lot. He's definitely Pentoshi in his own mind, even though he hasn't been there for 30 years, right? So let's get going into the story. So like I said, this is Quentyn Martell's point of view. So turn close. So Quentyn and his two companions, which are Archibald Ironwood and Garrus Drinkwater, have joined the Windblown. So if you don't remember what's going on here, it's a little confusing, but Quentyn is trying to get over to speak to Daenerys, right? And he travels to Westeros. Eventually, he's trying to get a ship to go this way, all the way to Meereen. But in order to do it, a lot of his companions died and everything, and they're kind of down on their luck. So they join a sellsword company that they know is going to be going over there, and they're going to fight in the sellsword company. And then once they make it to Meereen, they're going to go over to Dany and be like, hey. And then, Quentin's going to be like, we're supposed to get married. Croak. It's a frog. All right. So that's why they joined the Windblown, is to try to make it over to Meereen. Merris and the Windblown participate in the siege of Astapor. The company was paid for by Yunkai to fight and kill the Butcher's King's successors in Astapor. On the way to Meereen, so after they did that, so she fought the Battle of Astapor. On the way to Meereen, the Tattered Prince receives instructions from Yunkai to hunt the Astapori survivors that have left the ruins of Astapor, to drive many of them from Yunkai, either back to Astapor or further north to Meereen. So the Tattered Prince decides to play both sides and selects a group of Westerosi men to defect to Dany and women, right? But so he sends Hugh Hungerford to bring the three Dornish boys, Quentyn, Garrus, and Archibald, to the commander's tent. In there were other Westerosi men, including Hugh Merris here, Lewis Lanster, Dick Straw, great name, Kago Corpse Killer, even though Kago is not Westerosi. And then the Tattered Prince himself. So the Tattered Prince explains the plan. They are to ride east to Yunkai, but really to ride to Meereen and defect to Dany. So he gives them instructions ride to Yunkai, but kind of veer off. You're not going to Yunkai. You are, but you're just taking it, and then go over to the Meereen. So, and they're all like, what? Why? So, to defect to Dany. The men are confused. Quentyn laughs because that was his plan the whole time, which is really funny, because he's like, how are we going to get over to join Daenerys' side? And then the Tattered Prince is like, all right, I got an idea. Why don't you guys join Daenerys? How are we gonna join Daenerys? Oh, wait, what? So he just starts laughing, oh man, that's what we're gonna do the whole time. So Quentyn laughs, so he tells them, so he, as in the Tattered Prince, tells the group that Merris is in charge, and Dany might trust another woman, right? Because Merris is a woman. And then Dick Straw says, the girl would be a fool to trust us, even with Merris, especially with Merris. Hell, I don't trust Merris, and I've banged her a few times. He grinned, but nobody laughs, especially Merris. Yeah, I wouldn't laugh either. That's not funny. Tatter says that they were all picked since they have reasons to turn their cloaks, and then he kind of goes on a list you're mad at me because of this and this, and you want to kill me. You think that I stole your money, and I did. And he kind of goes off this is why all of you guys would defect to me. You all have reasons. Now defect. But for me. So, okay, so in Meereen, so the Westerosi contingent successfully contacts Dario Naharis and offers themselves as recruits for the Storm Crows. And then when Quentyn and his companions are introduced to Daenerys, they reveal their true purpose. And Quentyn's like, I want to marry you. I'm from Dorne. I'm a Martell, right? As well as that they inform Daenerys that the deserters from the Windblown were ordered to go over to her side, resulting in the arrest of all the other fake deserters, including Merris. So yeah, he's like, they didn't actually defect. They were asked to defect. And she's like, well, I don't trust that anymore. So they can all go to the dungeon. And so why do you look like a frog? You know, he's kind of ugly. Or Quentyn's an ugly man. I re-listened to his chapters to write this. And so often, a character talks and they're like, Taco, blah, 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 blah. Taco said, but he always goes croaks because he's like a frog. And I had a blast reading Quentyn chapters because every time I would say one of his lines, I'll say it like a croak. All right. Anyways, Daenerys eventually orders that Merris is released as a gesture of her regard and is brought to the Tattered Prince, stating to Barristan Selmy that if the Tattered Prince is a clever man, he will understand her gesture. Like, hey, we can talk, pretty much. So Merris tells Barristan that the Tattered Prince has wanted to betray Yunkai from the beginning, and the captain decided to join Daenerys in hopes that she will grant him Pentos. Yeah, he really wants Pentos, the Tattered Prince. That's what all this is about. Meeting with Frog. So we're skipping ahead a little bit, right? And actually, yeah, we're jumping all the way to when after Daenerys flies off with her dragon. So, yeah, a little further on. Okay, so Merris is present when the Tattered Prince, Danzo, Dahan, and Kago Corpse Killer meet with Quentyn and his two companions, Sir Garros Drinkwater and Sir Archibald Ironwood, at the Purple Lotus. I would totally drink at a bar called the Purple Lotus. Quentyn is wary of the prince, that the prince is wearing mail and has brought one more man than they had agreed upon. They're like, we'll both bring two people. And Tatters brought 3, right? So Quentyn expresses his displeasure to the extra man, and then the Tattered Prince points out that Merris isn't a man. We'll bring 2 men. All right, I got Archibald and Garrus, and it's like, wait, he's got 2 guys and Merris, and he's like, Merris isn't a guy. She could kill us as easy as any dude. She'd torture us, man. So yeah, I think that's pretty funny. Like the Tattered Prince is kind of goofy. I like him. That she is not a man. The prince remains resentful of the Dornishmen's betrayal, the secrets, and it's as it resulted in the imprisonment of several of his best men. To persuade the prince to join their side, Quentyn promises to double the amount being paid to the Windblown by the Yunkai once they arrive in Dorne. But the Tattered Prince is unmoved, and then Quentyn reveals his plan to steal one of the remaining dragons in Meereen, and the prince names Pentos as his prize. Whoa! Wait. All right, I'll give you a couple gold. Why? What is this plan? We're going to steal a dragon. Give me a city. Done. That's an unhinged conversation. If I was Merris, I'd be like, no. Why are we doing this? The scheme. Quentyn goes ahead with the plan to steal the dragons. It's going to work out, guys. Trust me. With the help of the Windblown Company, their attempt to steal dragons coincides with Sir Barristan Selmy's plot to capture his Darzol Lorax. So yeah, these 2 chapters run at the exact same time, which is actually really cool because Barristan's is first and it ends with like, why are there dragons out? And then it's like 30 minutes earlier and they're like, let's go steal that dragon. I hope it doesn't get free. And you're like, wait, but oh no, it will. All right. Anyways, so Yeah, so it's running at the same time. Quentyn and his two friends dress as Brazen Beasts. That's the art I got. I just want to show you guys Brazen Beasts if you don't know. The New City Watch and Army of Meereen, who all wear masks. Merris forces some Brazen Beasts to give them the daily code word, which is dog. That's the daily code word. They make it to the pit where Rhaegal and Viserion are being kept. There, however, they use the code word to the Brazen Beasts, who are actually part of the scheme to overthrow the king. They're like, whoa, I'm part of a completely different plot tonight. Archibald brings in his butcher's wagon, brings in a butcher wagon with ox and sheep carcasses in it. The 6 men then enter, 5 with Brazen Beast masks, and the 6th being Merris, who has not troubled to disguise herself. Yeah, she just looks like Merris. She is not dressed as a Brazen Beast. I don't know the point in that, why she doesn't do that, but okay. So Quentyn asks where her lord is, and she says, I have no lord. If you mean your fellow prince, he is near with 50 men. Bring your dragon out, and he will see you safe away as promised. Kago commands here. They ask if the cart will be big enough, and if they brought the chains, and Merris answers, how many dragons do you have? We have chains enough for 10, concealed beneath the meat. Beneath the meat. All right, yeah, so, yeah, they're bringing in like a cart because it's time to feed the dragons, right? But really, it's not actually time to feed the dragons. It's time to free the dragons, and it's a whole thing, right? You guys know. Madness! This doesn't go well. They go further into the pyramid, and in there a fight ensues with a bunch of other Brazen Beasts, and the 4 guards are slain. Those are the people they're fighting. Although Quentyn is almost slain with a spear, Quentyn is mad that the code didn't work, and to which Merris said, he's like, your code didn't work. And Merris says, you were told your scheme was madness. Have you forgotten do what you came here to do? Yeah, so yeah, she's like, dude, this is crazy. But yeah, they enter and find that Rhaegal has broken his chain since he was last in the pit, and that Viserion has created a cave for himself in the ceiling of the pit. Viserion first is attracted to Pretty Meris as he is looking for Daenerys. He's like, wait, is that a blonde lady? Is that a blonde? What are you, blonde? And but then he tries to escape the pit. Throughout this encounter, Quentyn tries to dominate the dragons with a whip, like he had seen Daenerys do with Drogon, right, in the pit, or in the fighting pit, right? But when he strikes Viserion with the whip, Rhaegal spews fire on him, setting him aflame. Merris and the rest of the men flee when they see how dangerous Viserion and Rhaegal are, and they cannot be reliably controlled. Yeah, they leave. Some people get burned, and Quentyn definitely dies in a couple chapters later, or the next chapter, whatever it is. He dies soon. I am definitely not in the Quentyn is alive camp. If you are in the Quentyn is alive camp, that's cool. That's cool. I'm not. But anyways, that's it. That's all we got for Merris. Kind of short character, kind of only a background character in there for a little bit, but definitely memorable, I should have just said, like Memories, not rememberable. And yeah, horrible backstory, but seems like a torturous, scary person to be around if you're into that sort of thing. Merris the Beauty. So I did find a couple small posts about who Merris might be, but not many that make any sense, right? They're all kind of, I don't know, none of them really hold water. Some that she is actually Brienne, which don't worry, we'll get to the other thing. Some that she's Brienne's mom, which I also don't buy, or that she's Tysha, which I definitely don't buy. Times don't match up at all, but none of them really hold water. Cold Windsering 07 on Reddit toss out, Wenda the White Fawn, which fits a little more, and I kind of like it. She might be Wenda the White Fawn. If you guys don't remember, the White Fawn, she was part of the Kingswood Brotherhood about 20 years ago. So it actually kind of fits. And the White Fawn did brand people's butts, so she was kind of tortury. So maybe it just like over a couple years, like playful, haha, I'm gonna brand you, turns into like awful stuff. I don't know. Maybe. The coolest thing I've heard about Merris is from a video from Joe Magician a few years ago. I remember listening to this when it came out. I never thought a million years all back then that I was going to ever do a video where I'm talking about it. But yeah, really good video. Joe Magician's really good at what he does. It was called The Tattered Prince's Secret Identity, A Song of Ice and Fire Theory. And it puts forth that Merris and Tatters, the Tattered Prince, are stand-ins for alternate versions of Jaime and Brienne that George came up with before he abandoned the, quote, 5-year time split. So if you don't know what the time jump, if you don't know what the 5-year time jump is, it was something that he was originally going to do in the books, where he's going to do a big time jump and age everybody, right? There, because so many of the characters are really young, but he eventually abandoned it. And a lot of people think that maybe after the 5-year time jump, Brienne's character and Jaime's characters were going to be different, and they might have already been over, like looking for Dany. These guys are essentially alternate versions of what those characters would have been. That's a theory, and it's cool. It's a cool theory. It doesn't really mean much, right? Like, she's not Brienne. Tattered Prince isn't Jaime. We shouldn't think of them as the same person, even though for some reason some people do. But yeah, it's just like, why waste a good idea of how these characters would have been if I did the time jump? Yeah. So I love this, and it seems like it's a fan favorite idea. I hear people bring this up all the time. So I will put a link in the description. Boom, boom, boom. So go watch it. Joe Magician's awesome. And if you do watch it for the first time via me bringing it up now, tell them I sent you. Tell them Large Marge sent you. Or Taco. That would make more sense because my name's not Large Marge. That's all I got. I will talk to you guys later. Click like and subscribe if you haven't and you made it this far through my annoying voice. That means you can handle watching my stuff. All right. Come on. And yeah, check out that link for Joe Magician's video. And yeah, peace.